Stand right there. That is not your nature to just stand where you're told to stand. Give it a try.
That was a strange reaction to Senator Bernie Sanders during the official Senate swearing in, where Kamala Harris told him to stand in a specific place and tell him, I know it's not in your nature to stand where you're told to stand.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Is that what she said? You don't behave, young man. Bernie Sanders getting told a little jokey joke from Kamala. Never hurt anybody. Let's get into it. TYT, Ana Kasparian. Is Ana Kasparian done with Cenk? I don't know. There's a little bit I don't know if it's fake tension or real tension. The Young Turks, we talk about them a lot. They provide great content. One thing you'll never hear me say is that they don't provide good content, especially right now. Way better than 2020 for sure. Ana Kasparian, Cenk Uygur, let's get into it. Kamala Harris, somebody didn't shake her hand too.
I don't know if I'm reading too much into it, Cenk, but it seemed a little like she was trying to say something. You get what I'm saying? Like there was more to it than telling him to do something.
Yep.
Like that old TYT clip. It was a little aggressive. Okay.
Yeah.
But now, having said that, look, it's a joke. And it's true, Bernie is not good at doing what he's told to do. Except he did under Biden, and I thought that was the problem, not the solution. True. But anyways, overall, not a big deal. They joked around, God bless. And I mean, if she's got a little passive aggressive in her after losing an election, I'm gonna let it slide.
Okay, all right. Are you not merciful? Now, if she was intending to be passive aggressive, what could be behind it? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and speculate that it could be the fact that Senator Bernie Sanders, especially after the election, has been calling out the corporate corruption of the Democratic Party. And when it comes to corporate corruption, well, let's just say the Harris campaign didn't raise billions of dollars out of thin air. And so just before the election, Senator Sanders made these comments while on CNN.
This should not be a close election. And I think the Democrats, win or lose, have got to take a very hard look at themselves and ask how it could be that a significant majority of working class people in this country are prepared to vote for Donald Trump. And the truth is, what has got to happen is the Democrats have got to wake up and say, you know what? Instead of worrying about big money interests and campaign contributions from billionaires, we got to stand with the working class of this country. And we need an agenda that is a popular agenda that speaks to Democrats and Republicans.
Senator Sanders says,
yeah, that's soft comments there as well. I mean, but he's absolutely right. He wrote a letter famously as well that was very critical, more critical than that, saying, hey, we're demonizing people, even basically saying we're too much into identity. Bernie Sanders said that. So the Cenk Uygur was right when he told Ana Kasparian, this is the Young Turks, of course, when he told Ana Kasparian that Bernie was obedient under Biden, he was right. That obedience looks like it's over right now. Maybe that is why Kamala Harris told that joke. Let's get back to the clip.
Democrats need a popular agenda. Stop listening to your corporate donors. The corporate capture of the Democratic Party is a liability. And to be sure, following that interview, the Democrats went on to lose the presidential race. They lost control of the Senate. And Donald Trump won the popular vote. Now, immediately after the election, Senator Sanders also released a fiery takedown of the Democratic Party, something that we covered extensively here at TYT. But in case you missed it, he said it should come as no great surprise that the Democratic Party, which has abandoned working class people, would find that the working class has abandoned them. While the Democratic leadership defends the status quo, the American people are angry and want change, and they're right. Will the big money interests and well-paid consultants who control the Democratic Party learn any real lessons from this disastrous campaign? Will they understand the pain and political alienation that tens of millions of Americans are experiencing? Do they have any ideas as to how we can take on the increasingly powerful oligarchy, which has had so much economic and political power? And he comes to the conclusion that probably not. So again, it's my speculation that if Kamala Harris was intending to be salty during that interaction, this could have something to do with it. But I have a lot to say about some of the latest reporting in regard to the grifters who took a chunk of those billions raised by the Harris campaign and the possible self-dealing that's taking place here when it comes to some of these consultants.
We're going to talk about money here in a second, but does it feel, am I the only one that kind of feels like Ana Kasparian might have to branch off and do her own show? You need to have someone, you don't need, but it's really good to have someone to bounce things off. The Young Turks have a little bit more of this bouncing off of each other now as far as different perspectives. But Ana Kasparian is, to me, in a more respectable lane than even Cenk. You tell me. Let's see. Let's pick this back up. Comment on the channel. Let me know what you think about the Young Turks, Ana Kasparian, and Cenk Uygur right now.
3 individuals who founded Future Forward PAC, and then Future Forward PAC raised a bunch of money on behalf of Kamala Harris's campaign, and then spent $18 million on other like election-related companies that were like that these individuals were part of. Okay, so let me give you some specific examples. One of the things that the firm did during the election was create online and text message surveys. GCJ Research was Future Forward's second highest paid vendor as of October 16th, according to the FEC. So the folks at Future Forward raised money for the campaign and then funnel that money to other organizations that the same people who founded Future Forward are employed by. How is that not self-dealing?
Money laundering.
And the connections don't end there. So McLean's company, PFB Media, was also paid by Future Forward PAC. The company was paid more than $1.2 million by the PAC for ad production, according to FEC records. How is this legal? In November of last year, Li Fang also reported that another research firm, Open Labs, which also does business under Blue Rose Research, received another $759,707 from Future Forward. The founders of the Super PAC also work at Open Labs.
So they gave themselves money.
Guys.
Yeah.
How is this okay? It's like they raised money not to help Kamala Harris win. They raised money to pay themselves. This is crazy. This is insane.
Yeah. So look, we don't know if they spend that money more efficiently than a different polling company would have spent it, but we do know.
Did you see Anna's face? Whoa.
They gave your.
Whoa. Anna's like, wait a second. This is not the time where we're going to play this good cop, bad cop.
But we do know.
If you're watching on video, I'm going to freeze frame on Anna's face.
That they gave your money to themselves. We do know that they gave your money that a different polling company would have spent.
There's the face. So Cenk says, well, we don't know for sure that they would have spent the money any differently or more inefficiently than a different polling company.
Don't know if they spend that money more efficiently than a different polling company.
That's the meme. If I could clip the video right now and be like, anytime somebody says something that's suspect, it'd be Ana Kasparian like, nah, I'm looking at you sideways, bro. Her whole face, it wasn't even like the side eye. Her if you're just listening to this on the podcast, Ana Kasparian, when Cenk says, yeah, I know the people that worked for the PAC also worked for the money PAC gave it to, but who knows if they were really more inefficient. It was the same take as, remember, Patrice Cullins or Colors, whatever, the Black Lives Matter, gave the money to her man, let's just say. And they were like, oh, the security or whatever they provided, who knows if it was more efficient or inefficient. Ana Kasparian's not buying it. Are you buying it?
He would have spent it, but we do know that they gave your money to themselves. We do know that, okay? And
so then why did you even mention the first part?
And remember, a lot of the consultants, especially if they're working on the part where they collect the money and then spend it on ads, get 15%. So the more money that they raise, even if it's counterproductive, even if you're kissing donor ass and costing yourself tons of voters, they have a financial incentive to keep doing that, even if it costs them an election, because they're going to raise more money from those same donors. So they've got already one terrible incentive in that 15% that they get. That's usually how it works. And then they have now a second terrible incentive, which is take all your money and funnel it to their own companies. I mean, if this company was a really respected polling organization that didn't employ the top 3 people in the Kamala Harris campaign, then I'd say, well, I mean, you got to do polling, and apparently they spent it in that direction, okay? But it does employ the top 3 people. In fact, it's named after the top 3 people in the Kamala campaign. And on top of that, they had almost no contracts before the Kamala campaign. They had one $7,000 contract in the last cycle. That's it. So this thing has no experience, no nothing, and all of a sudden the people that handle the money of the Kamala campaign, they just decided that they should get $18 million of it. And I guess they did some polling. Was it really worth $18 million? You'll never find out. How much of it was margin? You'll never find out.
It wasn't worth the paper it was printed on, Cenk. Okay, like she performed far worse than the polling indicated. Far worse. Come on.
Yeah, no, I know. No, I'm just telling you, like, we're being fair.
Anna, take a look. This is a side mission. I think the problem here is pretty clear. I hope everybody understands the problem that Ana Kasparian is bringing up. This is objectively ridiculous. Laying it out again, Future Forward. The Future Forward USA Action is supposed to be a nonprofit organization. It supported Kamala Harris, and they directed money to firms owned by its own leaders. They paid about $370,000 to this research that was funded by the treasurer, and about $340,000 to another media that was co-owned by its president. So it'd be like me starting a super PAC, running it, you donating money to my super PAC, or me getting money from donors to the super PAC, and then me paying my own show or saying, hey, I want you to do this. I want you to do this polling. But it's me running the PAC and the money's going to my company. That's basically what happened. And we're seeing that to the tune of reportedly $18 million. What's $18 million when she raised $1.5 billion? But the side story here that's not as important, but I've seen people kind of looking like, is Ana still want to hang around with this, bruh?
Far worse. Come on.
Yeah, no, I know. No.
She's talking to Cenk there. She's talking to Cenk like they're off camera, basically. And Cenk's like, I know.
Polling indicated far worse. Come on.
Yeah, no, I know. No, I'm just telling you, like, visibly. We're being fair. The content of it. If they would like to come out and say, oh no, look, here's how much we spent, here's how little margin we made, and here's how it compares to the other vendors, I'd be thrilled to get it. But they'll do no such thing, because this is the last time you'll ever hear about it. Because mainstream media doesn't care about corruption like that.
Of course they don't. At least the Young Turks are talking about it. Quality episode. How long? Here's my ending question. How much longer do you think Anna's going to stay with Cenk? Or is it an act? Do you think they're faking? I think it's real.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.